Salutations, one and all, and welcome to the Drop Dead Gorgeous Gallery. I am your host, the Sinister One, Murky Monday, and allow me to be your guide in our newest exhibit, Anna G. Yeah, Anna G. What can I tell you about Anna G? Well, first of all, let me say this. I have only met Anna G a couple times here and there. And in those here and there places, it was here and there at comedy situations and or at her own home. You see, Anna G is a young lady who is unfortunately hopelessly in love with someone that I consider to be my brother. It's weird to say that because when he came into my life, he was 14 and I was a way on being an adult, you know what I mean? And so then he was more like my little brother, you know what I mean? But now he's like a grown ass man, and it's weird to think of him as my little brother. You know, he's a grown ass man and shit now. Who I'm talking about is one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Rocky Lopez. Rocky Lopez is really kicking his life off right now, and just doing some incredible things in the world of comedy, and he is hitting up stages here and there and just dropping the mic on people, and I love what he's doing. I'm so happy and I'm so proud of him for everything that he's doing. Although this ain't about him. This is about Anna. And the reality of it is that I don't really know very much about Anna, except to say that I know one thing for sure, and that is that she is the mother of my most favorite person in the whole world. She is the mother of Rocky's little boy, Rocky, who just had a birthday here not too long ago, a couple days ago here in January 2026. This little man, oh my God, he is the cutest dude ever. You know what I mean? And I'm just so happy and thrilled that Rocky is a father and just doing that. You know, again, here I'm talking about Rocky, but you know, it's little Rocky. Really, I think that's an incredible thing to have kids. You know, it's an amazing thing, and I think it's funny, right? Because Rocky has two older sisters. And so does Little Rocky. Little Rocky's got two older sisters. And so I think it's funny how life sort of repeats itself. You know, it just, you know, sometimes the recipe just works. You know what I mean? And you're going to come out with a fantastic meal no matter what you do. And I can certainly say that I'm happy about Rocky's life, and I'm very proud of his family. And Anna, I think you're just an incredible person. I remember that we would, you know, chit chat here and there on the internet and stuff like that. And one of the things that I remember telling you a way long time ago is to be proud of being a monster. Don't ever hide that from nobody. You know, be that. You know, every day should be Halloween, and in my head, you know what I mean? And that when it is Halloween, that you should dress like a normal person to throw people off. You know what I mean? That's just my thought process. But, you know, that's because I'm a monster, you know, and so I live my life as a monster every day. You know, Rocky can certainly attest to that. You know, he might have seen me, you know, as a dressed up monster here or there, but, you know, he can certainly attest to, you know, that, you know, I be stank and that my breath be funk, and that, you know, I got hair in my ears and I'm ugly enough to scare Satan blind, that kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but this is an interesting situation when it came to doing this painting, because realistically this was not the first choice that I had for painting on it. I had another picture in mind, and it was going to be one where it showed off her tattoo. You know, years doing tattoos, I love tattoos, and I thought that it would be cool, you know, to put a tattoo, you know, in the art, you know. But then here recently, they went to go see Morrissey. Morrissey showed up. Can you believe that? That's why I thought, you know, and then she posted this picture, and I was like, man, that's cool. You know, he fucking showed up, and that's actually what I decided to name this painting, that it's called Morrissey Didn't Cancel. You know, you'll see me signing it here a little bit later, but and so I thought it would be cool to do this picture, because, you know, not only does it have her in a wonderful happy smile, but it's also got Morrissey, you know. It's like a double whammy 2-for-1 right there on coolness, right? But the thing about Anna is this, you know, when I do these pictures and I go through and I look at what pictures would make great paintings, Anna takes great pictures. But you know what? As you can see in this picture, Anna has this habit of chopping her head off. Like, she always does that. Like, it is so rare to find a picture where you can see the top of her head. And I actually made the top of her head the best I could, you know, from having seen her. I couldn't have her going out looking like a Ren Ishii up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, in the other picture, it was the same thing, you know. She chopped off the top of her head, so I was gonna have to make up her dome anyway. But, you know, I thought I did a pretty good, you know, accurate rendition, you know, just from what I know. But, you know, and then because of the length of it, I wasn't really going to be able to get much below Morrissey's mouth, so his iconic jawline, I'm not going to be able to sort of get that in the picture. And so I was wondering whether or not I'd get enough of his face for it to be him and be recognizable. Again, it's always challenging to try to get the likeness, and in this case, Anna has a pretty bright face in this, but you know, in knowing that she's, you know, a mini monster, I felt like I could go darker with this, you know, and I almost decided to go like full on zombie nuts with it and just do some crazy dark noir horror picture. But at the same time, I thought to myself, well, you know, little Rocky's still a little kid, you know, and I don't know that as a little kid I would want to see a painting of my mother all zombied out and dead. So, you know, I kind of toned it down so that maybe little Rocky wouldn't, you know, freak out seeing his mom all ghouled out, you know. But he's a good kid, you know. That dude, yeah, he's scared of me. I'm the monster in his life. That's right. I love that because they can use that to keep him in line, you know, when he gets older. Don't mess up, Rocky, or call the Momo over here, Merkin Monday, come over here, and then, you know, he'll straighten right up. Yeah, but it was just one of those things where I decided that this would be a good painting to try to, you know, make it a little bit darker than what it really is, and then, you know, enjoy the, you know, the t-shirt of being able to sneak Morrissey into the Drop Dead Gorgeous gallery. So I thought that'd be kind of cool to do that. Not maybe that I won't, you know, do an actual Morrissey painting later. Who's to say? Who's to know? Anything can happen. But in this picture, she's not wearing any earrings, and so I also took the liberty of putting some, you know, small little hoops on, because, you know, Anna works in the mall as a piercing thing, you know, the piercing pagoda type. You remember piercing pagoda? Did I just age myself? But, you know, that's not what it is anymore. But I'm not sure what it's called now, what it is that she does, the name of her business. But that's what it is that she sells jewelry in the mall, does piercings. And so I couldn't let her go out without some jewelry. So I threw some nice little hoops on her in my particular image. And then really at that point, you know, the challenge for me is to, you know, again, you know, make a good painting. You know, I hope that when people see the painting that they recognize Anna in it, you know, and that they don't see that I'm trying to copy the photograph. I don't know if I stress that enough, that I'm not trying to replicate the photograph. I'm using that as a guide artistically to know where things are and how things should line up. You know what I mean? But I'm not trying to copy it, because for that you could just print it, put it in a frame, and stick that on the wall. You know? Anyway. And so when it comes to doing these paintings, I ask the everyday legends that I do, I ask them 5 questions. And the 5 questions are, what would be your last meal? And her last meal would be Mad Dog 2020 Orange Jubilee, a quesadilla with guacamole, pico de gallo, chips, and queso. Yeah, that sounds delicious. Her 3 songs playing at her viewing would be Gigi Allen, When I Die, Elton John, Benny and the Jets, and prayers. Only death can set me free. I couldn't find that on TikTok, but so I went with a different prayer song on the TikTok videos. Who would give her eulogy? It would be her pops. And when she was on the other side, who would be the first person that she would go see? And the first person that she would go see would be Gabriel Fernandez, to tell him that he is not forgotten, he is loved, and he did not deserve what was done to him. And then she would be the mom to him that he didn't have or deserve. If you know anything about Gabriel Fernandez was the little boy who was murdered by his mother and her boyfriend back in May of 2013. They beat him up on the 22nd. He died on the 24th. He was 8 years old. Rest in peace. He's in Palmdale, California. She would also look for littles to make things right with her. She would go to her tia Linda and tell her all the chisme. She'd go visit the grandparents and the family dog Charges. And then she would have absolutely no last words. Leaving in silence. Yeah, that's going back to some ninja shit with me and her dude. That silence is a killer. Yeah, no doubt. Thank you guys for watching, and this is where I sign it, and I named this painting Morrissey Didn't Cancel. Hell yeah. Neither did I. I did it. I took care of it. I love this painting. Hell yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. It was absolutely a dream to paint this. I hope you enjoy it. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you for watching. Let me paint your mug. Yeah, I might be dumb, but you're drop dead gorgeous.
Thank you for your visit to the Drop Dead Gorgeous Gallery. We hope you enjoyed your time while you were here. We encourage you to come back with your earliest convenience. If you would like to be a victim, an exhibit in the gallery, contact us. Thank you.